Alright, welcome everybody. This is not my super builds at all. This is not a Loki build whatsoever. Just want to get that out of the way. It's not a Loki build, but you can obviously tell by the title. So it was by popular demand on how to counter Loki. Now I already planned on doing this because he's one of those gods that you kind of need some help or just a lot of experience in how to counter Loki or play Loki yourself for quite a bit. But to start off with how to countering Loki is be aware of your surroundings. That goes for any map. Let's just say for arena, majority of the time you spend in the middle part of the map. Most assassins kind of hang around the left and right sides, the jungles, because often the assassins will go for jungle buffs because they don't do that great of lane clearing. They need the XP. So I guess that's just a general tip overall and all game modes, to just be aware of your surroundings. That's going to help you out trying to find assassins before they try to assassinate you. Another thing is when you go into a team fight and you notice, you have to notice how many people are there on the enemy team that are you're fighting against. Make sure you have to know where the assassin is at all times. If you don't know where the assassin is, you kind of have to keep an eye behind you. So sometimes, like when I personally play, I always like to just look behind me and just turn the camera around. Another thing, you can actually hear Loki. You can hear him majority when he's coming at you or when he's near you. What I mean by that is when he pops up his decoy, that makes a nice little sound. Now it's kind of, I mean, you can see where it's at. And wherever he places that at, he's not too far away from where he places his decoy at. Another big one when he knows most likely gonna come in for a kill is when he does that. When he does his one, you can kind of generally hear his sound effects, and also when he pops out, just another little sound effect. So I kind of recommend playing with sound in general. Whenever I don't play with sound, I notice I don't do as well, because it's just you need your senses when trying to fight against assassins. And this all may seem really self-explanatory or just common sense, but moving on to other ways on how to counter Loki is just make sure, just keep him out of team fights. Now I've done this before where I've fought against a Loki and he kept trying to sneak behind my team, which is kind of like, just look at him, just kind of like just go back and forth, like act like you're gonna go ahead and fight him, but you're really not. Well, you can if you want to. Just kind of keep him out of the team fight. Let your team know where Loki is and whatnot. Now moving on, another thing is some people may not know all the gods and their passives and whatnot. And if you're not familiar with Loki's passive, or if you haven't played Loki enough, he does 20% more damage when he's attacking you, to your back, like right behind you. So never put your back towards Loki. That's a big mistake. So if you're fighting him, make sure you're facing him. Don't have him at your back, because he's just going to tear you up from there. Now you can buy some actives that kind of help against Loki's attacks. This is if he's not too fed, where he just like two-shot you no matter what. Is buying Ages. Ages have saved me quite a bit against Loki's. I typically get the right one, the top right one, because it allows me to move. He doesn't really CC you too much. I mean, his ulti does, I believe it stuns you for like however long. It stuns you for 1 second. I mean, we can live with that, but we can't live if we're taking damage. So Aegis Pin is going to allow you to be, immune to damage for a little bit, and you can also start running away, and tell your teammates, hey, I'm being destroyed by Loki and whatnot. Another great active is Combat Blink. This is if you survive long enough to use it, but you have to be kind of quick. You have to have your cat-like reflexes when fighting against Loki. So when he pops up near you, or if he misses his ulti or whatever, you need to, that chance to Combat Blink away, and you'll be fine. So those two I highly recommend. Now if you're like a support or whatever, and you want to help your teammates out by kind of shutting down the ADCs and assassins, buying Fulminant Curse is going to slow his attack speed down by 30%, as you can see here, and that's if you can land it on them. But those are the majority. Sometimes, if you're a mage, don't be stubborn and don't buy like any physical defense items when he knows he's destroying you. Now, if you're good enough as a mage or whatever the case may be, you may not have an issue against other assassins, or you can 1v1 them or whatever, or your limits or whatnot. But if you need a little bit more physical defense, but you don't want to sacrifice stats or whatever, let's just move on. Look, what I was trying to recommend, what I was trying to transition into, is buying Breastplate of Valor. I get this for my mages personally if I'm being destroyed by ADCs or assassins or warriors or whatnot. It gives you a lot of physical protection. It gives you a lot of mana. Now the mana is mainly to complement your passive on Breastplate of Valor, 25% CDR. So if you're not outquaying, it doesn't give you damage directly, but being able to use your abilities more often in turns equals more damage as long as you use them abilities. If you're quaying, his passive turns a percentage of mana into power, so in the end you still get power from this. Now, you shouldn't need much more physical defense from this because if you get another physical defense item on top of Breastplate of Valor to counter assassins or whatnot, you're gonna lose out some damage. So I'd recommend this for sure when trying to counter Loki. But that's overall the main things. Don't have your back to him. You have to like have your senses on. Start looking around you. I've seen so many people just tunnel vision down like one lane or just face a certain way. I mean, you have to. A good assassin is not going to just attack you up front unless if they're fed. They're most likely just going to try to come up behind you, if I can speak, and assassinate you that way. So it's just all self-awareness. Don't be stubborn. Buy Breastplate of Valor. It's going to help you out quite a bit. Things like that. So I think that's pretty much it as far as tips. So I'm going to wrap up the video. Let me know on which god you want me to kind of give you some help on how to counter that god or goddess and whatnot. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.